everyone, and welcome to another episode of 34 in the Bank with me, Claudio Capri. Just before we get into today's episode, do the three things: like, share, and subscribe. The like button looks really cold, so why don't you just take a scarf and wrap it around the like button, give it some hot chocolate, and just show love. And obviously, subscribe and leave a comment here, for this episode, because I have an amazing guest. He is, he runs Circle of Debate. It's an amazing podcast. You should listen and watch it if you did not subscribe to it, yet. And just like here, 34 in the Bank. If you're new, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also, Jofo in the Ring podcast, AEW Dynamite review Wednesday nights at 10:15 p.m. So after AEW Dynamite, myself, Alessandro Deluxe, Selecta Brew, and Frank Jofo, we go on and talk about the episode of AEW, if we liked it, if we did not like it, what our predictions. And you could catch all this. There are links here at the bottom. As I mentioned, like, share, and subscribe. And if you like what you see here, follow Circle of Debate and Jofo in the Ring podcast for all your wrestling and sports updates over here. So without further ado, let's bring on today's guest. He is amazing, as I mentioned, from Circle Debates. Let's bring on the devious one, Ivan.
What is going on, Claudio? Thank you so much for having me on, man. Happy Thursday morning for everyone out there.
Yes. Happy Thursday morning. And as I mentioned, like, share, and subscribe. So, Ivan, let's get into it because, we have new followers often. So let's start with the cliche question. Well, not cliche, whatever question you want to call it. So, Circle of Debate, really quickly, like, what is it about and how did you come up with this podcast idea?
Circle Debate, the name came when I had all my wrestling buddies together. We were watching an event, and I've been working on doing a podcast for like 3 years, but I needed to find a name and still couldn't find it because I didn't want to make a podcast relating this wrestling podcast or wrestling show, like something different that will be like, okay, what is this about? So it happened one time. We were, of course, having a couple of drinks, and then that's when someone said, "Man, we're in a circle debating about pro wrestling." Oh wait, Circle of Debate. That's what I call it. And then from there, I just called it that, and I introduced Mike Lopez. He was one of my originators. Him and this other person I used to have named Josh. He was another one from North Carolina I had on. It was the first three. Later on, we added Matt. And then after we added Matt, then later we added Chris. And then Josh, he left for personal reasons. And then it turned out us four. And then later we added Mike De Niro from the Wrestling DeLorean podcast. So now it's 5 of us now. And it's been fun since then, man. It's just pretty much, debating about pro wrestling. Pretty much everything was going on in the world of pro wrestling. And we do MMA as well. And sometimes music. So, we venture out here and there, giving everybody the opportunity what they want to venture out. And it's been fantastic since then for the last 2.5 years already going.
Nice. And besides YouTube, where are you guys found?
We're also found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Bullhorn. You can find us in any audio platforms around. So we're there.
Nice. Okay. And you guys go live. You guys go live, right? I know I'm just asking so people could tune in to you guys. You guys go live Thursday nights. That's
yes.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. No. But by the way, no, I do know when they go live, so don't worry, folks. I do know. I'm just trying to encourage people. So yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. Thursday nights at 8 p.m. That's right, Ivan?
It's 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 o'clock Central. So yes.
All right. Cool. And where are you located, by the way?
I am in Los Angeles, California. So the only one that is not in LA is Mike De Niro. He's in New York. He's in Brooklyn, New York. So yeah.
Okay. So folks, Circle of Debate, you could catch them Thursday nights, and they're also available on audio platforms. So let's get into a few topics that I wrote down today, Ivan, and I'm and this is in the wrestling world. It's getting really hot right now. So There was AEW All Out pay per view, which I thought was okay. It was okay. It was too long, but it was okay. There were a few good matches, but the biggest question that I'm sure everyone is talking about, is CM Punk and the Elites. I saw your recent episode, and also Selector Brew from Joelful in the Ring. He was there giving his opinions. But I like what you were saying. But you don't. I don't want you to bore yourself with repeating everything. The question I want to know is: do you think that this is a work as well, Ivan?
I don't think it is, but
Mm-hmm.
if it turns out to be a work,
Mm-hmm.
it better be worth it how they book it. Because
Mm-hmm.
mind you, here's the problem. The problem
Yes.
is that you pretty much shadowed your pay per view event, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it all out. Like, hey, All Out was good. It was a great
Mm-hmm.
event. No, all of us in the world of professional wrestling community is talking about
Mm-hmm.
what happened after. We're not talking about
Yes.
what happened in those matches, and that's a shame because we're
Yes.
overshadowing the event itself. The match with
Mm-hmm.
Keith Lee and Swerve versus the Acclaim, the
Mm-hmm.
return of MJF. We're not talking about that. We're speaking
No.
about someone who went in business for himself and
Mm-hmm.
called out other people that shouldn't be
Yeah.
called out. It should have handled it
No.
privately. And now we're talking
Exactly.
about this for like the whole past week. That's all we're hearing. And it's
Yeah.
a shame
Mm-hmm.
because you're putting in danger another alternative product
Yeah.
that, since ever since WCW closed its doors, now we have something else that we can, love besides WWE. But
Yes.
you're jeopardizing that because of your ego, your selfishness, because now the network could be looking at it as, should I resign to AEW? Should I keep them on? And that's putting them in danger. And
Yeah.
if it's a work, then it's a shame that you're doing that because you're hurting your product. You're making us fans like, really? Like, why would you book this as the work? I mean, this should,
Mm-hmm.
if it is a work, it's a shame. I don't think it's the right way to approach it. I think it should have been done differently, in my opinion. But
Oh yeah,
it,
no. Yeah, because that's the thing. Because there's many news out there, and we got to question which ones were right and which ones wrong. But the more I'm seeing this, and I'm not an avid wrestling fan as you are and Joe from the Ring crew are, but because I was getting back into wrestling, and the more I'm seeing this, the more you're right. Because this better be a work. This better be because yes, I understand. If you have beef with someone else, you incorporate that into a story, but at the same time, like this better be something. And you mentioned on the circle of debates, is like CM Punk should be taking time off for a whole year for the next year's All Out, and only if then. And I believe you also mentioned, I know, sorry for if if you have to repeat yourself sometimes,
no
but
worries.
you know you're mentioning that you should that he should come out and apologize to what he's saying. I think that should be a very good idea. But I'm also wondering, what what do you think made Punk do this? Like, besides his ego, like, do you think, is it two questions? Is it like, he's being injured and he doesn't care, or do you think because he has such a high ego he doesn't care about everyone else but himself? Is base What I'm trying to say is, do you think CM Punk is selfish in a way?
In the persona way, yes, I
Mm-hmm.
feel that he's selfish. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you've been gone for the business for saying 7 years. They brought you back in. They begged
Mm-hmm.
you to come. They gave you 5 million to come back. Think about that, and you're gonna jeopardize 5 million.
Yeah.
Me as a person, I would not jeopardize that, but he just went in for himself. He tried to sabotage the the media, pretty much, who sabotaged him, speaking about Cole Cabana.
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk got him fired. CM Punk got him demoted to be Ring of Honor. That's why he's not a part of Dark Order anymore. That's why you don't really see him much. So Punk got really tired of it, and so he just let it all out and bash and sabotage everybody in the media. And he planned that for a reason. How they mentioned that he planned this weeks ago, but then, I mean, which is fine. It is what it is. He said it, but he shouldn't really gotten into details all about
Mm-hmm.
Cole Cabana's mom's bank account. That's personal. That's legal matters that he could get sued because that's information that probably cannot be disclosed. What about there is a
Mm-hmm.
legal matter in regards for that? And he didn't think about it. Probably he just talked out of his ass because he
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that, hey, he wants to let the media know, screw you guys, what you guys are saying, this is the true story. This is what really happened. And
Yeah.
now with the boxing, Kenny, that's the one that threw me off. Like, wait a minute, why would you talk about them? You're blaming them that supposedly that they throw these leaks blaming CM Punk for everything for Colt. I don't think that's true. But because I never, by far, I haven't read or heard anything
Okay.
that the Bucks or Kenny Omega were involved in that situation. So I don't know, where Punk is going with that direction with them. But then when he clarified a little more, he just doesn't like how they run the business. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. That's what it is. And like I
Yeah.
always been saying, I mean, I always say this: AEW needs a structure. They need to have a structure.
Yeah.
Just like how Vince McMahon had his, he had his Pat Patterson, he had his Bruce Pritchard, he had his Jim Cornette, he had everybody in places. Like how Triple H is doing right now, having people in place. You're going to be in charge of this. You're going to control that. That's what Tony Khan needs to be. And the problem with Tony, he's more of a fan than a businessman, and that's not the approachable way to do his business, especially. So it just like I said with CM Punk at the end, this was all selfishness. He didn't care. He just went in. He wanted to talk about Hangman going business for himself. You did
Mm-hmm.
it too. You did this
Mm-hmm.
too, and it wasn't the right way, in my opinion. Still.
No, it really wasn't. And I spoke about this with Frank on Joe Full in the Ring podcast, AEW Dynamite Review, and there was, you know, because when AEW was starting, it was like, okay, cool. I want to see again. We're comparing apples and oranges, but and this is where I'm going to go into the next topic about Malachi Black and everybody. Like Tony Khan signed a lot of people in the span of 3 years, a lot of people, and at one point you just didn't know where things are going to go, so I think in a way that all this could have happened if you didn't book Punk and you booked less wrestlers. But I also think now, because he booked a lot of people, it's spiraling out of control. Like people are getting injured left and right. People are quitting. Like, don't, like, for example, like I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of the House of Black, and what Malachi, and now the fact that Malachi Black left, and he went from, oh my god, you know what, finally Tony Khan's doing something right with Malachi Black, to, my god, like, why are they being jobbers? I just like, to me, like, I just thought the booking is ridiculous. Do you agree? Like right now, like the more wrestlers there are, like, do you find the booking in AEW is ridiculous, or do you just think it is what it is? I want to hear your opinion on that.
At a certain aspect, there's a level of booking that makes sense to do the
Okay.
story. But
Yes.
then there isn't like, why is this book with X, Y, and Z? It doesn't make no sense.
Mm,
Or there isn't any booking at all. Like you mentioned, for example, the House of Black. How long did it
mm,
took Julia Hart to join? It should have happened a long time ago, but they waited for a very long time to get her to do it at Double or Nothing. But it should have been done before that. I don't know what
okay.
took so long, and I think that's where the problem was there because the story was taking forever. Now in Malachi Black, that's another bad booking too.
Mm-hmm,
When he came in, he had a great
mm-hmm,
storyline with Cody
mm-hmm.
Rhodes.
Yeah.
What happened after? Nothing. They didn't
No.
really use him. Nothing. You
No.
brought in Brody King.
Yeah.
Awesome, cool. I like Brody King.
Yeah.
Brought Buddy Matthews. Great too. He deserves a shot again to be on national television. But what
Mm-hmm.
do you do with them? Nothing. And Malachi, you could tell that he was frustrated with the booking overall. That they weren't. I mean, honestly, Malachi should have been a title contender by now. Have his goons, back him up. Have him to be the number one contender for the belt. I wouldn't have minded seeing, BCC Blackpool Combat versus the House of Black. I wouldn't mind that at all. That would have been
Yeah.
something.
That would
And
have been cool.
Going after Moxie for the belt.
Yeah.
But Tony Khan didn't book it. He didn't book it right. And I know Malachi clarified on his Twitch why he left. He did leave for personal reasons, mental health
Yeah.
reasons, and I
Yeah.
respect that. I mean, hopefully he gets better, and hopefully he comes back mentally great at this time. But now it puts the House of Black in a position. What do you do with them now? And you're not gonna do much with them, and
No, you can't.
you can't. And then, like I said, overall, the booking AEW certain storylines make sense
Mm-hmm.
with, but at the same time, it doesn't because you're just putting someone in and you're not explaining how did we get to this from the beginning, and that's the problem that he just puts
Yeah.
matches and not
Yeah.
explaining why we're doing this match, why
Yeah.
we're heading to this direction. That's the
Yeah.
problem that it's always been with AEW. Don't get me wrong, the matches are good.
Yeah.
However, there needs to be a little storyline to it. Give us story.
There. Yeah.
Give us a reason. Why should we be invested of watching this match? Tell me why should I watch it?
Yeah.
Give me a story. Give me an explanation. Not just because I want to watch it because two guys dream match, cool. That's fine and dandy, but there's times that it gets boring. You want something to tell you a story, how it developed, and where we get at. And that's always been AEW's issue.
Oh yeah, no, I agreed. Like there, like for example, even I don't want to say that like All Out was bad. Like some of the matches like that were in 0 hour, they could have been in in the main event. Like for example, the one match that I loved in in Fallout was Eddie Kingston's match. That to me, I'm like, I was with my friend, we're watching, I'm like, wait a minute, why is this before the main? It should have been, and then you're watching, like for example, the one match that I was really looking forward to was Jungle Boy versus Edge, but Christian, Jungle Boy versus Christian, and one of the reasons why, well, I read this, so so if it sounds fake, I'm just telling you what I read, is that Christian was apparently injured. And that's why the match only lasts. But I'm like, why even put it in the main event if Christian is, like, I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm crapping on AEW, but I'm just saying, like, that was one. I don't know. I think I'm starting to not lose hope, just not becoming.
You're not becoming invested. That's the problem.
Exactly.
You're not invested. You're not like, oh wait, why am I going to see this if it doesn't make any sense to me? So it's just like you're not interested, and that's the problem. That's the problem.
That's a really big problem. That's a really, really, really big problem. Like I'm gonna come out and say this, but I'm a big Matt Hardy fan. Now that Jeff left, what is Matt Hardy doing? Well, he's on Dark, which, to be honestly, and I think I'm one of the only people who's saying this on I'm enjoying Dark more than Dynamite and Rampage. I'm actually, and then I'm seeing Matt Hardy fighting there, and I'm like, okay, but what's his storyline? And is he gonna come back as Broken Matt? Is he gonna because he's talking about retirement? I just don't know where he's gonna go with this. So what do you think? What do you think is gonna happen with Matt Hardy, Ivan?
Man, there's so many ways you could book Matt Hardy. You could bring back the Broken Matt persona,
but he already started with that.
Yeah, I know it, but it's just, I mean, to bring it back, he can bring it back. It's fine, but at this moment, the way how he's on BTE as well, he's confused. He's keeping away from Private Party. Like, we might see a reunion. We might see a Matt Hardy Private Party reunion. It might happen again. That's where it looks like it's leading to. If you're watching BT being the elite on YouTube, it looks like they're heading to that direction. And if it is, it's fine. I mean, right now, I love Matt too. I give him all the credit in the world. The guy rebuilt himself in TNA, and I'm happy for him that he found that persona, that broken persona, and highlighted his career, so elevated his career so much high. At this point, I mean, it's hard. It's you could go any way with Matt. You could have him, bring him back with Jungle Boy. I wouldn't mind that either. I think anything with Matt, you could book him anywhere as a manager or even as a tag team partner. This is Jeff Hardy. We don't know what's his future as well once he comes back. Is he going to be, really sober? We don't know. And there's so many questions. Because this could have been the last Hardy run. And I think that's why he was teasing retirement, because he wanted to have his last Hardy Boys run and then just, retire and maybe be a backstage role guy, agent, a producer, or creative in writing. which Matt has that. He has all those attributes. He has knowledge. He got it from WWE. He can do it here for AEW. The same goes for like Billy Gunn. He has that knowledge too. He's a coach, but they could use him as well to be creative in writing. That's what they need. Is they need someone to write their promos, control the promos, not to have drama anywhere. And I think Matt could fit in that picture as well. And let's say if they don't do nothing with him, might as well have him, book him as in creative. I mean, that's probably the best direction I want to do with Matt Hardy. And if he doesn't want it, if they have a good for him. So.
For sure. Oh, for sure. But I see Matt. Now that obviously he's coming close to retirement. I see him more as a backstage because, as much as I like AEW, I'm like sometimes I'm like, man, these people like need writers or someone or video editor, just like a package because because I'm not because I don't know the wrestling history as much as you do or Joe Fo and the Ring Crew do. But like when I see a new wrestler, I'm like, I'm like who the F is that? And then Alex Deluxe is like, oh, this guy's in this. I'm like, I don't remember him. Like even like if they have an ex WWE guy, which in my opinion should be called WWE 2.0, but that's another crazy debate. But like at least a video package or something, and I'm like, because you have a new guy coming. I'm like, oh, who I can't I don't know who this is. Like and then this guy wins. I'm like, all right, what are they gonna do with him? And then they put him on the side. I'm like, all right. So like for example, when Tony Khan brought Ring of Honor. And then he got Christopher. I was gonna say Danielson. Christopher. Yes. Oh my God, I forgot the name. I have it written here. I have him down here. Anyways, Christopher Daniel. He came out of Ring of Honor, and then he lost against Brian Danielson. And then I'm like, all right, so I don't see him anywhere now. I'm like, okay, where is he now? I'm like, okay, no one knows. But I think, writing is something that Tony Khan needs to, again, I'm not crapping. I'm just saying as a fan, there are some things. But again, the company is only 3 years old and it could improve. So I also want to get a little bit of your feedback, Ivan. So what did you, besides the CM Punk drama that occurred, what were your highlights of All Out? What did you enjoy and not enjoy?
I enjoyed more the Swerve and the Glory versus the Acclaim. I think that match stole the show. That tag team title match was awesome. I enjoyed it. It was fantastic. That was great storytelling in the ring wise, and the way how Swerve and the Glory turned heels for a bit, giving the momentum to the Acclaim, and it was so close. But that match, wow, I just enjoyed it top to bottom. It told a lot of good story in the ring, and this could have been the Acclaim's opportunity to win, but they fell short. And obviously they're having the rematch on Grand Slam on the 21st, so I'm looking forward to how that's going to work out. I enjoyed that match, and the other match I did enjoy was the opening was fine. Seeing the ladder match, I did enjoy that. Just seeing questioning who was a Joker, that was good booking, by the way. I'm going to say it was, because it got everybody talking. Who could that be? Who's that guy with the mask? And it happened right towards the end, which I enjoyed, how everything turned out to be in the end. And I enjoyed, of course, the main event. Did enjoy to see, Moxley did a great job. Like I said, I don't hate on CM Punk as a professional wrestler. I had no respect for him as a person, but as a talent, good for him. I'm happy that he put up a good match with Moxley. Of course, it delivered. But overall, I mean, I can say those by far were my top ones. And then you mentioned the Christian Cage and Jungle Boy. It didn't make any sense of why had the match anyways, just to turn Luchasaurus heel. And so what now? Again, right? So it's like it didn't make any sense to me. How they should have done Christian beat up backstage already, and Jungle Boy pretty much, he was the one that beat him up, and they could have canceled the match. Oh, he can't compete. Let's just stop the match. All right, and then move on. Given that extra time, given that extra 5 minutes to someone else, like the women's matchup, that was good too. I did enjoy the Fatal 4-Way. I was rooting for Jamie Hayter, but no, it didn't happen. But happy for Tony Storm. And so we'll see how that goes. But overall, I mean, it was a somewhat of a great event. I know it sucks that match, the Jungle Boy Christian Cage didn't happen, but
Mhm.
overall, I mean, it was. I think it was great overall. Like everything else, nothing was really bad for me. I enjoyed every match.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah. No. It was. No. It was interesting to see. It was. I mean, it was a really long match, but you know, to me, that stood out was the Jungle Boy, and then the House of Black versus Sting, Darby Allin, and Miro. Um, But now, like, I was wondering where the story was going to go because for people who didn't see the match, spoiler alert, Sting throws the mist into Malachi Black. Maybe again, see if that is a work that will be well done because Sting, as I mentioned, Sting threw the mist into Malachi Black. So maybe he says he's going to go on leave and then he's going to come back maybe as another character or now he's actually going to be blind with with the light, with the mist of light or whatever you want to call it. I think I so there are so many potential, but obviously, respect to Malachi Black. Um, we just don't know where this is gonna go. So now, so Ivan, another question that I have for you here is, so who are your favorite Mount Rushmores of wrestlers?
Oh my god, it's tough in that one. There's so many, but
Yeah, go ahead. You
my
can name all you want.
I'll just keep it like how short as for Mount Rushmore's. Of
Yes.
course, I will have my Bret Hart. Everybody love Bret
Yes.
Hart. That's always my number one guy.
Hmm.
AJ Styles is my number two guy. I love AJ. AJ Styles since remembering his TNA days to New Japan days until now WWE days.
Hmm.
Uh, my other one will be Brian Danielson. Saw his career from the beginning of Ring of Honor into where he's at now. I'm happy where his career is at. And my last one, who could I choose as my last one? I think my last one will be will be Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is another one that I've seen his career from starting in pretty much in GSW and Georgia State Wrestling, seeing his career in Ring of Honor. I was there when he would come around in PWG a lot, when he was wearing the green tights before he became the
Hmm.
Bullet Club Omega. I was there for his career
Hmm.
and seeing him in Japan and took it to another level, took it to another heights, and kind of Kenny Omega was one of the pioneers that kind of opened the market for international stars to go to New Japan. Because New
Hmm.
Japan was not much starting that way. In a way, they were just more close-minded, more focused on their strong wrestlers or Japanese wrestlers. But now, when they
Hmm.
open the market to international stars,
Hmm.
even in America, you know, they brought Kenny is the first first ever from of course Winnipeg, first ever Canadian world champion in New Japan. Nobody has ever
Okay.
had that, so he made history over there. So that's why I praise Kenny Omega's work. He's done a fantastic job, and he man puts for me always puts banger of matches that I enjoy. I never get disappointed seeing Kenny Omega's matches. I always enjoy it.
What was your favorite Kenny Omega match? Two,
Him
actually,
versus
no, two of them. If you have to name one AEW and one in before AEW.
Well, one before, of course, Kenny Omega versus Okada and
Okay.
Dominion, and this was 2018.
Yes.
That was
Yeah, I saw
really
that.
that was an hour and 25 minutes of action, and that's when he finally won the championship, and he finally
Okay.
defeated Okada. The second
Okay.
one will be in AEW, of course, him and Brian Danielson last year Grand Slam. That
Yes.
was the
Yeah.
best.
That was
Oh my
that
god,
was that was intense. That
that
was
was intense.
Yeah, no, I never, my palms haven't sweated in a long time. When I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, my palms are sweating. This is very, very, very intense. And, speaking of Kenny Omega, I had, the match that they had with, you know, oh my God, why am I having a memory blank? Sorry about this. They had with, the house, no, it wasn't. Oh, wow. It was Dark Order. Yes. That's what it was. Yes.
uh, Oh, the one, oh,
Yeah.
that match at All Out. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Yeah, yes,
Yeah, okay, okay,
the
okay. That's what they had.
trios, the trios
Yes,
one.
yes. I had.
Yes,
Yeah,
That was a good one.
actually,
Oh,
yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I had it written down here, and then I'm like, wait, why am I having a memory blank? And I'm like, okay, I had to double check my notes. But yeah, no, that was yeah. You see, for some reason, I found that wow, I was about to say the House of Black, right? The Dark Order fought better here than they did on no, on the episode of Rampage for the pay per view. But I don't. It just I don't know what it was like they kept botching, which was that was something. But right away when they announced this match, I turned to my friend. And I'm like, I think I think the Elite are gonna win this match. So yeah, I had as much as I enjoyed this match, at the same time, like I'm like down, like in my heart, I'm like maybe the Dark Order are gonna win. Maybe there's some hope, and then I'm like, no, there wasn't any
Yeah,
hope. But yeah, no, that was that was something. that
that was a good match
was
though because
yeah.
what I loved about that was we finally get to see the potential that Ryan Reynolds. I mean, not Ryan Reynolds. I always forget Alex Reynolds. Let's call him Ryan Reynolds. Alex Reynolds and John Silver. They showcased what it can do on a main event level like this, and
Mhm.
they put on a hell of a show. Those two guys, I commend them for putting a fantastic match with the Elite, and also give credit to the Elite as well because they can make everyone look. They made them look good, and oh man, just seeing Reynolds and seeing Silver, that got to be their highlights of career. So I really wanted Dark Order to win it because I feel like it was their time. They've been there since day one
Mhm.
when they were getting shout out. Who are you? Who the F are you? And then it just didn't happen. So I'm happy that they're at where they're at right now, but I wish they could have been given the trios title first before the Elite was. So it is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of trios title, the Death Triangle, they have it, and I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, no, that should have gone to a House of Black. But anyways, that's just my opinion. Speaking of opinions, where do you think AEW is gonna go from here? We've already seen some changes on Wednesday, but where do you think it's gonna go as of now? Do you think do you think CM Punk is gonna get fired? Do you think the Elite are gonna do like where do you see this happening? What do you see this
I
happening?
right now, I think they like how I said it on my last episode. They need to
Yes.
cool things down, not to don't bring them up. Have Let's just have people forget about it. Do
Mm-hmm.
not bring them within the next 6 to 8 months. Neither for them at all, and then just focus on building your talent, like your homegrown roster, like the Acclaimed, Ricky Starks, Will Hobbs. Uh, Plus, you can build best friends. That's triangle. Now you can add people from Dark, add them to there on Dynamite, competing for the trios title, which means it helps the trios title to get more elevated and has people invested. Okay, but give it a story, obviously, of why these people want to go for those belts. And shout out to Pac because now he's the first ever, holding two belts in AEW besides the trios. He's holding the All Atlantic, which I'm happy for him. Pac's another one who's underrated, doesn't give his credit where his credit's
Yes.
due.
True.
Um, and then with the TNT, I would book Wardlow, have him do what like how John Cena did, open challenge every week, having you getting stars there to challenge Wardlow. Give him Miro if you want. I would love to see him in Miro. That would be amazing to see. I mean, oh my god, that would be a challenge for him. So there's a lot of things that they could do here to they can move on without the Elite and CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
Like how they did this Wednesday on Dynamite, it was perfect. I liked it because it was a lot of packaging. If you notice, because you've been asking for it, we all been asking for it. We're seeing it now, packaging here and there. We're seeing that and less matches, and it felt like it wasn't too rush. It wasn't, hey, this match, and then we're gonna go to the next match, go to the next match. No, no, no. Everything was just in its place. Great. If they can continue to do that, I think that they're able to move on, move forward. Then about the Elite, you can bring him back on. But if he doesn't fire CM Punk, you got to look at it in a business way. This man does, whether we like it or not, he does draw money. It's an unfortunate. He does draw money. And so if you're going to bring him back, like I said it last time, before the cameras are on, make him apologize to the whole company. Put him in the middle and have everybody there surrounded. Have him make his amends, beg for forgiveness, because he pretty much sabotaged the whole product. So he needs to, and the talent, and the crew, anybody, he needs to apologize to everyone. Everyone he needs to apologize. And if you're going to bring him back on TV, look, do the same thing. But then if you're going to make it a story, fine. Make it a story, the Elite versus CM Punk and FTR. Since FTR are good friends with CM Punk, use it as a story and go with it. I mean, that's what I would have Tony Khan to do, is if let this cool down for a little bit. And then after that, bring him back. Then you have him apologize. Make him apologize on television. Let's make it a work. Might as well take that story and make it, make money out of it. Have him call out the Elite. Hey, come by. I want to apologize to you guys face to face. We see FTR attacking the Bucks, and then we see CM Punk attacking Omega, and there's your story. And you can have it from there. So.
Yeah, because you brought up something, right? It's like a business aspect, because as you mentioned, like CM Punk, whether you hate him or like him, he brings in the ratings. So I'm wondering, again, just on what's going on in my my head. I don't know if this is gonna come true, but Is it worth keeping Punk, or maybe he comes back and then he doesn't apologize and he's still, I hate to say this, but if he's still a prick, the way he is now, but that's the thing, right? And I don't know Khan personally, but I'm saying, do like business wise, is he gonna fire him? But then there's also that thing. What we gotta understand that. Well, he has to understand is if he doesn't fire Punk, then he's gonna jeopardize AEW, or if it's too late to jeopardize that. That's something that I don't I don't see clearly of what's gonna happen with that. But
no,
hey,
I get you, because let's say he doesn't apologize. Let's say he brings him back. Here's another problem. Then you're going to have the Elite, the one that helped you develop the company, the one that, hey, those were your original guys that you brought and to help create AEW. You're jeopardizing to lose them. So you're going to choose CM Punk over 3 other guys? That's a big no-no, because they're marketable too. They could draw you money. And if they don't, let's just say they don't re-sign their contracts next year at all, because obviously Tony Khan pick up their contract, their extension. They're there for the rest of the year, probably to, I think, next year in January or February. Let's just say they leave. They could leave. They could say, you know what, I'm out. I'm done. You chose CM Punk, then we're out of here. That's a huge loss that you lose in the locker room and the product, because you're choosing CM Punk over them. And it will jeopardize AEW, because and as much as, like I said, we hate, CM Punk is your marketable guy, but that's just only one guy. You need more than one person to be marketable for your product. It can't just be focused on one individual. It has to be everybody to do that. So if he does go, towards that direction, then AEW is in trouble, because now you're going to have people in the locker room could walk out, could say, hey, you know what? I'm done. As much as I need the money, need to, support my family, but someone will walk out. They'd rather go back to the indies. I'd rather get paid $500 or $700 in the indies than dealing with this prick. They can do that.
Yeah, so. That's true. Yeah, no, that's I don't know. It's just a lot of questions, but hey, you know what? Tony Khan is gonna make the right decision. But now, but before we leave, let's focus a little bit on you, Ivan. So, what's gonna be your next episode for Circle of Debate?
Well, I know for the flagship shows every Thursdays, of course. Episode now we're gonna be at 119. So, of course, speaking about the recapping Dynamite, see what's the status of that tournament that they're having to crown the new world champion, which I'm hoping is Bryan Danielson. I think it's his turn
You
now to
hope, huh?
win. I hope he does. I think it's his turn. As much
I
as
don't think.
I love Moxley, but you got to think about it this way. Look how many favors he's done for Tony Khan for him to win the interim, which should have been the actual one, not the interim, and then dropping it twice, to CM Punk. And so he's supposed to be on vacation. He said it. I was supposed to be on vacation, but I'm here
I don't think.
because I support. Well, who do you expect? Who do you think is going to win? Jericho?
Two guesses, actually three, and again, so one, MJF. That's one, because he MJF. I don't know if he did that work of the pipe bomb. We don't know if it was a work or not. Because he's a prick. Number two, Jericho, or number three, maybe, and I'm saying this with a big question mark, maybe, Brian Danielson. I think it's gonna be. I think what's gonna happen again. These are. I hate doing these predictions, but sometimes they're fun because I'm like, none of my predictions come true. I know there was one, but none of So what's gonna happen is we're gonna get the MJF versus John Moxley fight, or we're gonna get the Bryan Danielson John Moxley. Either MJF is gonna team up with one of those, one of those wrestlers. I was about to say characters. Sorry, one of those wrestlers. And then Moxie's going to be out and he's going to go on his vacation. Because that's so that right there is not gonna happen. Jericho, well, because it's just Jericho, and and he's the leader in the locker room, and he also is the he. I wouldn't say Tony Khan's like a bestie on the side, but he also helps out a lot on with well, I wouldn't say booking, but is also there, giving advice and whatnot on the side. But then what we think is going to be Jericho, because he also has a Fozzy tour coming up, so he's going for it. He might have an interim title. But Danielson, because Danielson's been here for in the company for a while, and what you've mentioned, he had a lot of history. And then who knows? We might have Wardlow, or we might have some other person coming. I was gonna say Christian Cage. Well, I'm like, no, that's very unlikely. But I don't know, or maybe CM Punk coming back. But I do see MJF having the title. I just don't know when when this is gonna happen. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I'm sure MJF, being a sneaky CS guy, he's gonna probably figure something out.
I feel why I want Brian to win the tournament, have him challenge MJF, challenging him, because you need MJF to win the title from a top star, and Brian is a one. And for this, and the story will remind me of seeing when it was Brian and The Miz. That's what it'll kind of remind me a little bit of. And I would love to see that between MJF and Brian, and have that story develop all the way to Full Gear, and then that's when Brian loses the belt. But I think if Brian can stay healthy, because that's another thing too. Brian's conditions, there's times that he goes overboard, and you got to be careful with this concussion, because he can't have no more concussions, because not he's done with professional wrestling. So I'm hoping that he's be careful, he stays healthy, then he can win the belt. Then later on, have him drop it to MJF at Full Gear or at Revolution, and then you have the year of MJF running the show, and I wouldn't mind that. I think it's about his time too, and he'll be I think not a youngest champion, maybe the youngest champion in AEW, but overall, nah. I don't think nobody can beat Randy's record. I think Randy was 24. I think when he won the world title, 24.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Okay, those are your predictions, and I can't wait to see how how those predictions are going to be. If they're going to come true or not. But again, yours might Mine, forget about it. Mine, I could like jump out the window 5 times and everything will still be the same. But yeah, no. So all right, so people could find you, Thursday nights. Is that right, Ivan?
That is right. Every Thursdays at
Mm-hmm.
11 o'clock Eastern time, ten
Yes.
o'clock Pacific. I mean, so 10 o'clock Central and 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time every Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously we do have our flat.
Nice.
We have Monday. So Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays we have our other show, which is
Mhm.
Mike De Niro show, the Wrestling DeLorean podcast. He's on every Monday,
Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Pacific, and then sometime Wednesdays, we have our MMA shows. Sometimes, like we're gonna recap UFC 279 next Wednesday, talk about what
Nice.
happened with the whole debacle, the whole fight overall, and then
Yeah.
Thursdays our flagship show. Fridays usually we have top fives.
Okay.
Sometimes Tuesdays we talk about New Japan, mainly New Japan
Mm-hmm.
shows. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're on 5 days a week, man. 5 days a
No,
week.
nice. Yeah, no. Your channel just keeps everything every day. You guys have awesome content, and I'm like, man, like it's in a way it's awesome to keep up because you guys have so much knowledge and so much content, and I'm just here. I'm like, yeah, I got back to AEW, and I'm like, man, like I don't know half the stuff, but hey, you know what? As I mentioned, you're you have a not you have a lot of knowledge in the sports entertainment and sports industry that I'm just like, man, like how do you keep up with all of this, Ivan?
Honor, man. My wife tells me the same thing. How am I going to keep up with it? But I sit down and I watch it. I analyze. I critiqued it. The same as football. The same with
Hmm.
basketball. The same with MMA. Like
Hmm.
I'm invested in those sports because I enjoy watching it and speaking
Hmm.
about it.
Hmm.
Uh, I've been a fan pro wrestling for since I was 5. So I mean, my uncle was a former wrestler. He's retired now from Mexico. He's a legend. So seeing him and seeing and other luchadors that I've seen throughout my childhood, and then getting involved more with WWF and then ECW and WCW. I just grew to be a fan. I watch it nonstop. Even when like I'll give you like Japan,
Hmm.
it's like 4 in the morning here. I mean, it's like 2, 3 in the morning here, and over there is at night already. And I'm up late at night watching it live. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to do my homework, watch it. Like I invest myself to learn about the wrestler, learn about the style, and just I love professional wrestling, man. It's my passion. It's everything for me. I mean, that's my scapegoat from reality is professional wrestling is my number one. So I mean, I love wrestling.
Nice. Okay. All right. Cool. And then, as you mentioned, you have Ultimate Fighting Champions, which honestly, I tried getting into it, but I'm like, actually, CM Punk threw me away from that because I'm like, geez, I'm like, no. When
Oh,
he came in, I'm like, oh, I'm curious how he is, and then I'm like, I can't, and then I felt ashamed because I was getting into UFC, and I'm like, and people were like, oh, who's your favorite fighter? I couldn't name George St. Pierre, I couldn't name Nate Diaz, I could even name Brock Lesnar, but I had to go with CM Punk. I'm like CM Punk, and people are looking at me, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, no, CM Punk. And I remember there was this fight. I forgot who CM Punk fought, but I went to a pub where we were showing the fight, and I think I was the only person rooting for CM Punk. The look that I had, the whole bar went quiet. They were cheering that CM Punk lost, but the moment he lost, and I forgot who his opponent. I'm sorry about this. They turned to me. Everyone in the bar turned to me, and they're like, it's CM Punk that you went for? I'm like, no. I thought it was I thought it was I thought it was MC Punk. Yeah, that was I couldn't, and then I had to stop. It was just awful. And then you had Brock Lesnar, which you know I'm like, thank God Brock is staying in WWE. I mean, if Brock ever listens to this.
oh, Brock did a fantastic. I mean, Brock, he pursued his dreams. He tried out
Yeah.
football, didn't work out. He got cut from the
Sure.
Minnesota Vikings. He tried MMA, and it worked for him. He defeated Randy Couture to become the world champion of the heavyweight
True.
division. So I give credit to credit's due for Brock Lesnar for how he reinvented his career in the world of mixed martial arts and coming back to pro wrestling. CM Punk, I'll give him credit. At least he had the guts to do it, even though he knows that this is not pro wrestling. This is combat sport. You better be ready, prepare for it. But unfortunately, he wasn't. So I mean, but I give him credit. He had the guts to do it. So I can, I can hate on that. I mean, he did it. He did it at least. Nobody will have the guts to do what he did, from a sport to another sport. It's a hard transition to do that.
Yeah. Was it after? If my memory, serves me out well, did Punk do MMA after he left WWE, or was it?
Yeah, he did
okay.
after.
Okay, all right. That's when I was getting into wrestling, and then I'm like, MC Punk. I know it's CM, but I'm like, I'm trying just to be creative here. I'm like, MC Punk is there, and then I'm like, I was luring everyone to be like, this guy's gonna be a great fighter, and he gets knocked out in 2 minutes. I'm like, man, thank God I did not bet on this. No, just like a little fun fact, and then we'll stop it here. But it's just that there's so much I want to cover in such a little small amount of time. But was there any funny stories? Was there any let's say wrestling or MMA fight that you thought your favorite wrestler or fighter was going to win, but then you just ended up losing, and you had that sheer embarrassment, or like, oh shit, I can't believe this happened moment?
Oh, yes. At that, when who was it? I had that. I'll tell you one. This is when I was like a teenager. WrestleMania 12, when it was Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. I was the only Bret Hart fan. Everybody else was a Shawn Michaels fan. I'm like, no, Bret's gonna win this 1 hour. And when it went to sudden death, I was like, oh no. And once I saw the pin, oh no, yeah, I threw a tantrum. I literally cried. I was like, no, Bret, my hero. I was really upset. I mean, because I was a diehard, and to this day, a Bret Hart fan. I mean, he's the one who got me more invested. He knows how to tell stories in the ring, how technical wrestling is all about, and I love that. MMA, I would say my favorite fight of all time will be GSP and Matt Serra. I was rooting for GSP, but Matt Serra came. He just came out of nowhere. And I forgot what UFC was at, but that was an incredible fight. Any fight that GSP had during his prime, like him and Matt Hughes or Matt Serra or BJ Penn, those fights were incredible. It just, you can never go wrong with GSP, man. He's another legend, and he really elevated the career of combat sports internationally. I think he was, like, for me, one of the pioneers along with Gracie and I'm trying to see who else. I think it was only Miko Crocrop, but I say more Gracie and GSP because they were more international and they were more hot commodities. Like, if UFC will be in Canada, GSP number one right there. Brazil would be Alex Green, Royce Gracie. Then they were really the top international stars. And I think without them, we wouldn't have UFC internationally, to be honest. And I'm glad that they were part of that history. So kudos to those two guys, especially GSP, because I'm another big fan of GSP.
Nice. I know in Montreal he talked about a lot in sports, and he's just someone that you just look at him and I'm like, this guy takes beatings, this guy gives beatings, but at the end of the day he's making he'll make history out of this. But yeah. Oh yeah, no, for sure. Unlike then you had that other embarrassing moment where you had the Big Show versus Mayweather when WWE and then Big Show lost.
Oh no.
Uh, I'm like that was another moment where I was with my friends like because I've tried getting my friends to WWE. I'm like, guys, look, you have a boxer versus Big Show. Like Big Show's gonna win, and then within like 10 minutes, because Mayweather figured out how to take down the Giants, and then Big Show was out, and then everyone just looks at me, and I'm like, this was fixed. I'm pretty sure all this was fixed. But the look of embarrassment. But hey, but hey, you know what? We still love sports. We still comment on it, and that's it. So Ivan, thanks for being here. It's just a lot of knowledge. I want to have you back here. I want to have you back with the Jofo crew. Just before we have the next AEW pay per view and all that, our predictions. I want to have that because you sir are also knowledgeable
Thank you.
and and just all of this. But hey, also I hope the predictions that you've mentioned they come true. And that's it. So, Ivan, just one more time, please, plug in your shticks and where can people find you and how can they find you?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Claudia, for having me on. And I had such an incredible time. I cannot wait to come back again, man. I love Joe from the Ring. Love you guys. I love what you guys do every Wednesdays and what you do here on the Dirty Four. You guys do fantastic content as well for everybody. And you can find us Circle Debate, all of our social media platforms at Circle Debate on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We have our Facebook page. You can find us as well on YouTube. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Circle Debate. You'll catch us Monday through Fridays with different episodes. You can catch the Wrestling DeLorean every Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. You can catch Circle Debate New Japan shows Tuesdays, MMA Wednesdays, the Flagship Show Thursdays, and the Top Fridays. So you can see in a lot of different content we provide, and especially the Wrestling DeLorean podcast, they provide a lot of great knowledge and that as well. For Mike, shout out to Mike De Niro and the rest of my crew, Chris Kennedy, Matt Callis, and Mike Lopez as well. And shout out to the whole League of Extraordinary podcast as well. And shout out to you, Carter, once again. Thank you so much for having me here in this fantastic 34 podcast. Man. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here from Ivan. He's going to be back. I want to have that. I guess we'd say Circle Debate. What's going to happen in the next AEW pay-per-view? And follow Ivan and the crew, and follow Dirty Four in the Bank Thursday mornings 9 a.m. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also Jofo in the Ring, AEW Dynamite review Wednesday nights at 10:15 p.m. Right after AEW Dynamite, we get to give our opinions if the episode is whatever it is. All right, so folks, wrestling, as Frank Jofo says, wrestling is life. Thank you, Ivan, once again. Have yourselves a good weekend. Stay safe, and we'll be back here